Assistant Professor from the Department of Pharmaceutical Technology. Welcome to the MOOC series, an initiative taken by the LG Institute of Pharmacy. In this video, I will share information on different aspects of the quality by design. So this concept was first developed by the quality pioneer Dr. Joseph Juran, and he believed, and now it is recognized, that quality cannot be increased by increasing the testing of the product. So quality must be built into the product. This is an enhanced quality approach. So we can define quality by design, a systematic approach to development that begins with predefined objectives and that emphasize on product and process understanding with process controls, and that is based on the sound scientific knowledge and quality risk management principles. Let's see about an essential elements which are associated with this QBD approach. So it starts with QTPP. Here you can see all the elements. So QTPP, that is called quality target product profile. The next element, that is CQA, that is called critical quality attributes. That comes the quality risk management. Now this element is regarding linking of the two other important elements, which are CMA, critical material attributes, and CPP, that is critical process parameters. So linking of CMAs and CPPs with CQAs, that is the quality risk management. Then the another element which is optional one, that is called design space. Though it is an optional one, the development of design space during the product development is definitely useful regarding the post-approval changes within that developed design space. The another element, that is called control strategy. Now this involves two other important elements. These are PAT, that is called process analytical technologies, and RTRT, that is called real-time release testing. Another element, that is continual improvement. So knowledge that is gained during the product and process development, that knowledge is applied for the further improvement of the quality of the product. So continual improvement throughout the product life cycle, that is the essential aspect of QBD. So product life cycle means the cycle that begins from the development stage to the marketing till its discontinuation from the market. So see about the first element, that is QTPP. This is regarding the summary of the characteristics of the product that ensures the quality along with the safety and efficacy of the product associated. So here QTPP involves the characteristics of the product which affect the patient, or we can say the characteristics which are critical to the patient. So if I take an example of tablet dosage form, we know that the quality characteristics like organoleptic properties, then weight variation, content uniformity, disintegration taste, friability, dissolution taste. These are the quality attributes of the product, or we can say these are the quality target product attributes. Now from QTPP, CQAs will be identified based on the criticality of these attributes to the quality. Let's see about the another element, that is CQA, the critical quality attribute, and it can be defined as a physical, chemical, biological or microbiological property or characteristic. Now it can be either of the API, that is drug substance, or excipient or intermediate materials, or it can be of drug product. So that should be within an appropriate limit, range or distribution to ensure the desired product qualities. QTPP, CQTPP also depends on the route of administration, type of dosage form. So based on that, by considering the identity, strength, the purity which affect the quality, safety and efficacy of the product, these are the potential quality attributes. In this image you can see that it can be appearance, assay value, crystallinity, content uniformity, degradation, that disintegration, dissolution, whether it is immediate release, modified release, the microbiological attributes, sterility. So these are the QTPP. And now out of this, which are critical to the quality can be identified, and these are called CQAs. So if we talk about the immediate release tablet dosage form, then we can say that the content uniformity and resolution, these are some of the CQAs. Quality risk management process that can be utilized to prioritize the list of potential CQAs, and that can be modified also based on the increased knowledge of the product and process. Let's see about CPP and CMA. So CPP, that is critical process parameter. Now these are the parameters related to the process which have impact on the CQAs. So these parameters need to be monitored and controlled. So if I take an example of the tablet process, this involves various sub-processes like mixing, granulation, drying, compression, and if coated tablets, then coating. So these are the different processes which are involved in tablet making. So if I take an example of mixing process, that the mixing process involves the particular geometry of the mixtures, then it can be buffered or unbuffered, the mixing speed of the agitator, or if it is tumbler type, then mixing speed of the blender, the mixing time. These are the different process parameters. So out of these parameters, which are the process parameters significantly affect the CQAs that can be identified and that can be controlled. So that is about the CPP. Now CMA, these are the critical material attributes. Now formulation of the tablet includes API along with the other excipients, right? So if I say the solubility of API, this will definitely affect the dissolution of the tablet, right? So I can say that solubility, that is the critical material attribute of the API or the drug substance involved in the particular product. Let's see about the another element, that is called risk assessment, or we can say quality risk management. Risk assessment, risk control, risk review, and communication, these are the different elements of the quality risk management. So in risk assessment, what is done? Identification of the critical material attributes and critical process parameters, and then development of the relationship of this CMAs and CPPs with CQAs is done. So here we can understand the effect of the critical material attribute to the critical quality attributes. So here the example is taken of the immediate release tablet, and that is for the drug substance, or you can say API. So the quality attributes of the API, that is material attribute. So that is solid state, particle size distribution, hygroscopicity of the API, solubility of the API, moisture content, residual solvent, then process impurity is present in this API, chemical stability of the API, and flow property of the API. These are the attributes of the material, that is API, and how this can affect the CQAs. See, not all the material attributes affect all the CQAs. Here you can see that red zone that indicates this particular attribute is having high impact over the particular CQA. So here we can see that here the list of CQAs as say contain uniformity, dissolution, and degradation product. So here we can say that particle size distribution, this CMA is having high effect over the contain uniformity and dissolution, but it is having low impact over the degradation of the product, and it is having medium impact over the assay. Whereas if the flow property is having high impact over the contain uniformity of the product. So we can say when flow property is poor, uneven distribution of the API throughout the bulk is responsible for the poor contain uniformity. So risk assessment involves cross-functional team of experts, and they can together rank the different variables which are associated with the formulation and process based on the probability, severity and detectability using any of the risk assessment tools one is FMEA, that is called failure mode effect analysis, or any other similar tools can be used, and Ishikawa diagram, which is called fishbone diagram, can be designed. So here in this example, that is for the tablet product, here you can see the various variables which are associated with the raw materials and the process, and variables associated with the analytical process also considered, right? And one more aspect, that is the plant factors like the environmental condition of the room where the product is manufactured, the operators and the training of the operators associated with the manufacturing of this particular product. So here all the variables which are associated with the particular process or analytical method or the raw materials can be ranked based on their risk factor, whether it is having high risk factor or low risk factor. And later on, by applying the design of experiment, further knowledge can be gained regarding these high risk factor variables, and that knowledge can be utilized for the further development. Let's see about the another element of the QBD, that is called design space, and it can be defined as the multidimensional combination and interaction of input variables and process parameters that have been demonstrated to provide assurance of quality. Right? So whenever applicant during the submission develop this design space and mention in its application, then and if the change outside this design space, that it initiate the regulatory post-approval processes. So once the commercial batch is out, and if any changes that is done within the design space, that it will not require this post-approval change process regarding the regulatory approval. So here we can see two type of graphical presentation. One, that is a response surface plot, that is three-dimensional representation. So here the CQA that is selected, that is dissolution, and two parameters which are associated with the material. One, that is the quantity of the water that is used during the granulation process, and the another parameter, that is the granule size. So the effect of these two parameters on the CQA, that is dissolution. So another curve, that is contour plot. So this is the two-dimensional representation of the response surface plot. So here we can see the different area. So this area indicates the highest dissolution, that is 85 to 90%, and this area indicates the dissolution, that is 80 to 85%, and that is the desirable range of this CQA. And this black area indicates very low dissolution, that is 60 to 65. So in this diagram now we can see that desirable range is 80%, right? So this includes this area and this area both. So here this area, that is the desirable range of the CQA based on these parameters. So we can say if we range the parameter 1 from this to this, right? So here we can see that it is around 41 to 56. That is the value for the parameter 1, and for this parameter 2, the range, that is 0 to 1.7. If we work with this range of these two parameters, then we can obtain the desirable range of the CQA, that is called design space. So this is a non-linear combination, and we can go for the linear combination. So that is beneficial for the mathematical analysis in later stage. So we can say that that is somewhat restricted or stringent compared to the non-linear combination. You can see the limit is narrowed down in linear combination. Now suppose the another CQA that is also affected by the these two parameters, and So for example, the another CQ, that is friability, and this is the contour plot presentation. So this white area indicates the friability is less than 2%. Obviously the desirable friability, that is less than 2% in this case. Design space can be proposed by overlapping the region of the ranges of the friability and resolution both. So here we can see this is the overlapping region. So if we keep parameter 1 and 2 in this range of this design space, then it will yield 80% dissolution and friability would be less than 2%. That is desired range of the critical quality attributes. Next element, that is control strategy, and it is a planned set of control which are derived from the current understanding of the process and product, and that ensures the quality of the product and the process performance. So these controls can include all the attributes and characteristics of material that is involved in the product. So this includes the API, or we can say drug substance, all the excipients, even the packaging components. It also includes facility and equipment operating conditions. All the in-process controls, it includes finished product specification, and the control also includes all the methods associated with this monitoring and controlling and the frequency of the monitoring. So the control strategies can include PAT, that is process analytical technology, that is inline and online testing. So what is PAT? PAT, that is a system for designing, measuring and analyzing the manufacturing through timely measurement of the critical quality attributes related to the raw material, in-process material and critical process parameters associated with the processes, that is to ensure the quality of the final product. So PAT techniques like NIR, that is near infrared, Raman spectroscopic, optic fiber techniques, this can be utilized for the RTRT, that is another element of QBD, and that is the ability to evaluate and ensure the quality of in-process and or finished product based on the process data, which includes the valid combination of the measured critical material attributes and process controls. So here in this diagram we can see that when the process is operated by varying the critical material attributes and critical process parameters within the design space, and when this attributes or process parameters are monitored and controlled by applying the process analytical technologies, the product that is produced by this process will have the reduced product variability. Let's see about the benefits which can be obtained by applying the QBD principles. It results into the higher level of the assurance of the quality of the product. The goal of QBD, that is to optimize the process based on the quality risk management. So ultimately it results into the cost reduction and increased efficiency. And when manufacturing process improvement is done within the design space that is specified during the submission, then it eliminates the further regulatory reviews. And if the changes are done post approval and that is within the design space, then it won't require the post approval submission. QBD involves the use of PAT that results into the real time testing, and that leads to the reduction in end time release testing. So looking at the benefits of the QBD, we hope the future of pharmaceutical industries based on the QBD approach. These are the references. Thank you for watching this video. For more updates, you can like, share and subscribe our Pharma Ignite YouTube channel. Press the bell icon for notification.